thing needs a laugh track. It needs a laugh track.
Sonny's dumb. Certainly not the brightest person. And what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out.
If you average out the View hosts, among the dumbest people on television.
Sonny Hostin, you better watch what you say about somebody else. Because your husband gonna be down there with Big Tony. Your husband, these people, the audacity. Her husband is being accused of something that's far more egregious than what they claim did.
Perhaps it's Sonny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass doesn't shatter. So instead, let's check out this clip from Monday's episode of The View when the ladies put their science caps on and...
The controversy erupted after a heated live segment where Sonny Hostin pushed the limits like never before, leaving even her harshest critics in disbelief.
Who hates Christmas? Melania Trump hates Christmas. She destroyed the Rose Garden. She doesn't want to decorate for Christmas. She doesn't want anything to do with him. She doesn't want to sleep in the same room with him. She can't tolerate him. I think she hates him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so we can all agree on that. That's a given.
Allegedly.
And she does.
Yeah, how do you know all this?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know all this.
Allegedly. That's why I say allegedly.
I also think that she wants to take him out. She does not want to be the first lady anymore.
The talk show, already wobbling under the weight of years of controversy, finally plunged into full-blown chaos, consumed by a media firestorm it had no hope of surviving. The catalyst, Sonny Hostin's decision to crank up the hostility to an entirely new level, unleashing a barrage of deeply personal and scathing remarks aimed at both Greg Gutfeld and Melania Trump, comments so incendiary they left viewers and media watchdogs alike stunned. It all began with what should have been a spirited but typical discussion. Greg Gutfeld's meteoric rise in late-night television and Melania's quiet return to the public eye. But in an instant, the debate took a nosedive. Hostin's tirade was less political analysis and more personal vendetta, an unfiltered attack that transformed the segment from heated discourse into outright spectacle.
What I read.
One might think that all these signs, the rising temperatures, shifting weather patterns, and natural events aligning in eerie succession, point to something undeniable. Climate change, perhaps, or maybe something even more ominous. Yet the idea that earthquakes, which originate deep within the earth, could be at the mercy of climate change seems far-fetched. And as for the eclipse, scientists have long been able to predict those with pinpoint accuracy. Nothing mysterious there, but that's not where the real storm is brewing. In an audacious move, she dismissed Gutfeld's success as nothing but dumb luck, claiming his audience was nothing more than a collection of disgruntled, undereducated men craving someone to echo their frustrations. That, however, was just the opening act. What really pushed things over the edge was her brutal takedown of Melania. With biting disdain, she reduced the former First Lady to nothing more than a decorative figure, stripping away any credit for her accomplishments and implying that she was merely a silent enabler in a corrupt empire. The attack was so relentless, so dripping with contempt that even her co-host seemed uneasy. But what she failed to realize was that she had just thrown a match into a powder keg. Greg Gutfeld, known for his unfiltered wit and relentless comebacks, wasted no time in firing back. On his late-night show, he unleashed a scathing monologue, systematically tearing apart her claims, exposing her contradictions, and calling out the long history of controversy surrounding The View. If bitterness were an Olympic event, she'd have more gold medals than Michael Phelps, he quipped, sending his audience into laughter. But this wasn't just about a clever rebuttal. Gutfeld wasn't interested in trading mere insults. He wanted real consequences, and he was about to make sure she faced them.
They're turning on me. So that makes Sonny Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by The View's gravitational pull. All right, Kat, did you ever see such a group? It's amazing how Joy and Whoopi became the smart ones.
For me, the most shocking thing about the conversation was how truly boring it was. They're like, well, the cicadas, they're cicadas. Okay, but it was like every 100 years. No, it's every 17 years.
Behind the scenes, he quietly started assembling a legal team to determine whether Sonny's fiery remarks and The View's editorial choices had crossed the line into defamation. But he wasn't the only one taking action. Melania Trump, who had largely stayed out of the public eye since leaving the White House, was reportedly livid over what she saw as an attack on her character.
Would be made that you would have to be sitting here defending him.
You never thought also about me as my husband, and you need to defend yourself all the time.
Behind closed doors, Melania Trump was seething. What had started as yet another round of offhanded remarks on The View had escalated into a direct attack, not just on her character, but on her dignity and legacy. Insiders revealed that she saw the comments as more than just casual jabs. They were a calculated effort to demean her, possibly with her husband's silent approval. Determined to fight back, she found an unlikely ally in Greg Gutfeld. Together, they mobilized a legal offensive that sent shockwaves through the network. Their legal teams dug deep, unearthing troubling allegations about The View's inner workings, including claims that inflammatory remarks were scripted to fuel ratings, and that certain public figures were systematically targeted. What followed was nothing short of a media firestorm. The lawsuits were strategic, airtight, and designed to unfold under relentless public scrutiny. The damage to The View was immediate and severe. A program once heralded for elevating women's voices was now being exposed as a breeding ground for partisan attacks and sensationalism. As the controversy grew, sponsors scrambled to distance themselves, pulling advertisements and severing ties. The backlash reached a fever pitch on social media, with hashtags like "Won't Cancel The View" and "Justice for Melania" trending for days. Even longtime fans began questioning whether the show had lost its original purpose. Behind the scenes, tensions boiled over. Whoopi Goldberg, often the panel's de facto leader, publicly defended the show while privately fuming at co-host Sunny Hostin for stirring the hornet's nest. Meanwhile, Joy Behar, exhausted by years of controversy, was rumored to be considering retirement. The panel's internal fractures widened, leaving the future of The View in question. But for Melania and Gutfeld, exposing the show wasn't enough. Sources close to them revealed their ultimate goal: to see The View canceled altogether. In a joint statement, they made their stance clear. This isn't about politics, it's about decency. No platform should have the power to defame and ridicule individuals under the guise of entertainment. It's time to hold them accountable. With the legal battle intensifying and public sentiment shifting, one question remained: was this the beginning of the end for The View?